Welcome to the Explainer. So, I want you to completely forget everything you think you know about dating. Seriously, toss it out. What if finding a partner wasn't just about romance and butterflies, but was actually the ultimate high stakes startup pitch? Today, we're diving into some fascinating source material that completely reframes romantic relationships. It's not just an emotional exchange, it's a massive enterprise. In fact, they call it the youth business.
Now, you might be wondering, why exactly do we call dating a youth business? I know, it sounds a little clinical at first, right? But asking this fundamental question is going to completely flip your perspective on how you view romantic partnerships.
To figure this out, we're going to run through this agenda: true entrepreneurship, the youth business, the law of mass, perfect partner interviews, synergy of knowledge and economy, and finally, partnership to shine the world. All right, let's jump right into section 1, true entrepreneurship. So think about a standard merchant or a typical enterprise. They're usually focused purely on personal profit, right? Just corporate growth, bottom lines, that kind of thing. But a true entrepreneur, they have a totally different mindset. Their primary goal is actually to benefit society and humanity on a wide scale. And this perfectly mirrors modern dating. If you go into a relationship just looking for someone to buy your dinner or, just cure your loneliness, you're basically acting like a merchant. But if you're looking for someone to actually build a life with, a life that positively impacts the world around you, well, then you're stepping into that true entrepreneur mindset. Which brings us to section 2, the youth business. Take a look at this data. Notice that massive 90% slice? It shows that today, relationships are overwhelmingly about finding a collaborative partner so you can walk the exact same path together. We really aren't just blindly continuing a bloodline or fulfilling those outdated family traditions anymore. Actually, scratch that, some still do. But that old school motivation makes up less than 10% of why people get together today. It's a huge shift. Because here's the reality. We all have natural deficiencies. We all have weaknesses. The source emphasizes that dating is actually a strategic merger to fill those inherent shortcomings. It's kind of like your two distinct puzzle pieces. You seek someone else out because they have the exact curves to fill in your empty spaces. And when those pieces lock together, you compensate for each other's flaws and create a much stronger, unified force. Together, you can walk a far greater path than either of you ever could alone. Moving on to section 3, the law of mass. Okay, the law of mass. I know, it sounds a bit like quantum physics, but it's actually about your personal weight in the world. I mean, your combined life experience, your intellect, and your economic resources. This principle states that you absolutely must connect with someone whose capacity matches yours if you want to ensure mutual growth. Let's say a deeply curious PhD tries to build a life with someone who has zero intellectual curiosity. The communication physics just don't work. True collaborative research into life's problems simply cannot happen if your masses don't align. The source actually gives us a really specific metric for this, the 30 above, 30 below rule. Think of it as your conversational bandwidth limit. If your partner's capacity is more than 30% above or below your own mass, the signal just drops. If they are overwhelmingly higher or drastically lower than you, true communication stalls out completely. You literally can't connect. Okay, let's get practical with section 4, perfect partner interviews. Listen. You wouldn't hire a startup co-founder without a rigorous interview, right? Well, the exact same logic applies here. Step 1, you have to brutally assess your own shortcomings. You can't find someone to fill your gaps if you don't even know what they are. Step 2, verify the communication flow using that law of mass we just talked about. Are you guys actually in the same bandwidth? And step 3, clearly determine who holds the knowledge versus the economy. You need to figure out exactly who brings the intellectual wealth and who brings the financial resources. Let's explore that dynamic in section 5, synergy of knowledge and economy. In this strategic partnership, there are two distinct, absolutely vital roles. You've got the person with knowledge, who brings wisdom, and the person with economy, who brings resources and is actively seeking intelligence to invest in. Now, here's a fascinating twist. The person with the knowledge is actually the true leader of this dynamic. But the whole engine only starts running when that intellectual initiates things by freely sharing their wisdom, completely devoid of any greed. The absolute line between success and failure in this business, it's greed. If the intellectual focuses on mutual growth and shares their wisdom unconditionally, the financial partner will naturally open their vaults. United, they create this massive power to influence the world. But the very second the intellectual gets greedy and covets their partner's money instead of prioritizing growth, slam. That vault closes forever, and the synergy is totally dead. No way around it. There's a really powerful quote from the text that hits the nail on the head.
Do not covet money or people. If you share the knowledge you've built, the relationship will naturally form and money will follow. Sharing your knowledge unconditionally, well, that's the true currency of love here. The real intrinsic value of a partnership comes from offering your inner mass without a single drop of selfish greed. When you manage that, the money, and for sure the right partner, will just naturally gravitate toward you.
Finally, let's bring it all together in Section 6, Partnership to Shine the World.
So, as we can see, relationships have fundamentally evolved. In the past, specifically before 2013, the primary focus was mostly just continuing the family lineage. Today, in our present era, it's all about partnering for mutual growth. But what about the future? That's where it gets massive. Your relationship isn't just about the two of you anymore. It becomes this grand mission to educate humanity, share your combined life wisdom, and ultimately shine globally to benefit society. So, it all comes down to this one question. Are you just casually dating to pass the time? Or have you started the youth business that will literally make your life shine? Something to think about.